Let me start by giving you a little bit of information here. I'm going to put this up so you all can see it, hopefully. I hope everybody can see that. This is my information. I've also asked Delina Medin, makeup artist Delina Medin, to join me this evening. And she is going to be typing some information in that will help you all sort of keep up with what I'm doing. Make sure that you have my contact information. Make sure you have my email address, my phone number, and all that good stuff. But let me tell you how I came up with this topic. I have been thinking about it for just the longest time. Not social media inside out, the title, but just what is happening to everyone who is watching social media. It just so happens that last week, some of you all know Tanya Robertson. She's a makeup artist in Washington, D.C. And Tanya Robertson called me up and she said, Crystal, I need you to talk to everybody about social media. People are just freaking out. They're freaking out about the fact that they feel like they should have something to say on social media. They should be doing something on social media. And when they're not, they're still on social media, but it's not really terribly productive. And then, as it turned out, I was talking to Yancey the other day, Yancey Edwards, who is the hairstylist on The View in New York City, and Yancey's a PYP grad. Tanya is also a PYP grad. And I really stay in touch with my grads. I want to know what they're doing, I want to know how they're doing, and I always want to know how can I help. So both of them feel the same way about this whole social media thing. So my goal here today is to present you with the problems. What does PYP stand for? PYP stands for Packaging Your Portfolio. It's the short title of my class. The long title is Packaging Your Portfolio, Marketing Yourself as a Freelance Makeup, Hair, Fashion Stylist, or Manicurist, or Photographer. I have lots of photographers who come and take the workshop as well. That's what it's called. And it was shortened not by me, but actually by other PYP grads who just named it PYP. So let's go back to the two problems that I would like to try to solve. The first one is that we are becoming watchers and voyeurs instead of doers. Watchers and voyeurs instead of doers when we spend too much time on social media. The other thing is I would like to try to eliminate the barriers to taking action by giving some step-by-step instructions that will really deal with what I feel the actual problem really is. So what do we want to cover? What I want to cover tonight, number one, is discovering your unique value proposition. What you have to offer as an artist, what you have to offer as an entrepreneur, what you have to offer as a creative person. What is your unique value proposition and how we find our creative voice? Okay? And number two, planning. Planning not just in terms of the sort of PYP, plan to work and work the plan, which is something I learned from my old sales manager at Xerox, but how do we become an active participant in planning the time that we spend on social media? Let me diverge for just a minute before I go on. Remember, you can swipe up for Android. You can swipe to the right for iPhone. I see a lot of people sharing on social media, and I think that's awesome because guess what? We don't want to keep this to ourselves. Let's let everyone know. When we know something good, let's not hoard the information, but let's share it. So I thank you for sharing your followers. And forgive me if I'm not saying hello to everyone. I really want to stay on point. And if you have questions, hold them till the end and I'll ask for questions and I'll sit here and I am so happy to answer questions. So, you know me, plan to work and work the plan. I've got my notes here. So, number one, the first action we need to take is we have to be patient with ourselves. I think social media makes us want to hurry. Social media makes us want to hurry. And if you had to ask yourself one question, and this is what I meant to say in the beginning, do you ever get off of social media feeling overwhelmed, discouraged, depressed, and saying to yourself, I'm not good enough? This is why we're here today, because this is how people are feeling. And so what we really want to do is we want to take our power back. We want to participate in social media. We want to use social media, but we don't want social media owning us. Okay? So now let's go back to the actions that we take. Number one, you really have got to slow your world down a little bit. And it's hard to slow your world down when, guess what? Your phone is ringing every 2 or 3 minutes. It's hard to slow your world down when every single notification on your phone is popping up every couple of minutes, reminding you to do what? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? It's over here. So I'm just going to pretend I have my phone in my hand. How many of us do this? You're working on something, you got to go like this. You're working on something, you got to go like this. You're being notified every few minutes, and those notifications are totally taking you off your game. So number one, we want to be patient with ourselves. Rarely are there actual overnight successes. We think they're overnight successes because they just pop up in social media in our world, and we're thinking, where did they come from? How did they get to be so successful? Why is everybody following them? So we've got to be patient with ourselves. There are very few overnight successes. And the next thing, embrace the journey. You've got to embrace the journey that you're on as a creative artist, as an entrepreneur. You've got to embrace the journey. You know why? Because the journey is going to be here regardless of whether you're liking it or not. So if we start to take some interest in the actual journey, if we start to embrace what's going on, if we look at it, even the obstacles, as if the glass is half full and I'm going to learn something if I just get over this obstacle, then we will actually start to have a better time. As we grow our artistry, as we grow our businesses, we will actually start to have a better time. So that's one of the actions we need to take. Now here is the next action. Believe it or not, if you're sitting on social media all the time and you're watching what everybody else is doing, when was the last time you had an inspired thought when you were watching what everybody else is doing? Because instead of giving yourself time to think about what you could be doing, what your unique proposition is, what you have to offer, you're watching everybody else, and this information is you're just being bombarded with all of this information, and it's hard to stay focused. So how do we get focused? Number one, we carve out some quiet time to discover our own why. What is your why? What really inspires you? What is it that makes you come alive? Do you know what it means to be inspired? I looked up the word inspiration before I decided to do this talk, and it's to breathe life into. Are you really breathing life into your own career, when you are on Facebook every moment, when you are watching social media every single hour of the day, when you're being interrupted by social media? Are you really breathing life into your own career? I don't think so. In order to do it, you've got to identify your own innate strengths. What are your strengths? Because until you get off of social media, carve out some time to think about your own strengths, you can't do anything but watch. You can't do anything but watch. So, what are your natural talents and skills that meet your passion? This is how we grow our strengths, by looking at our natural abilities, our natural talents, our natural skills, and see how they actually meet our passion. The next thing is, where can you add value? Before you jump on social media and just throw a bunch of stuff out there, if you give yourself some time to just sit back and say, okay, where can I add value? I mean, isn't that what I'm doing right now on Periscope? You don't have to give everything away. But if I'm going to be here, if I'm going to get on Periscope, if I'm going to take the time to plan, I've got to ask myself, how can I add value into the lives of the people who are going to show up to hear what I have to say? How can I add value? And when I look up, I see people that are freaking out by social media. And the truth is, when I hear people talking about the Michelle fans, when I hear people talking about, well, they don't really even have talent and they're stealing our clients, the only reason you have time to do that is because you're not investing enough time and you're not staying focused enough on thinking about what you have to offer and then thinking about how you can create a plan to deliver it to an audience so that that audience has a reason to come to you to want something from you. Here's the deal. You got to figure out what you have to offer and then what you want from what you have to offer. What is it that you want? Do you want people to book you for more jobs? Do you want people to hire you as a spokesperson? Do you want people to buy a product that you have to sell? You've got to figure out what it is that you have to offer, and you've got to think about what you have to offer in social media as opposed to what you're going to get. You know, since I've been doing these talks, unless somebody has asked me, I haven't talked about the fact that I coach. Unless somebody has asked me, I haven't talked about the fact that I do workshops. But guess what? People have gone to my website because they feel like they're getting something from what I'm talking about. They've gone to my website. They've looked me up. They've bought books. They've registered for my class. They've hired me as their coach. I don't have to get on here and say, bye, 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 bye. Go to my classes, do this, do that. I'm coming here because I think I have something to offer. And I see people struggling. Do you hear me? Struggling with social media because they're just watching. Because you've got to give yourself time to come up with what you have to offer and the way you want to offer it. And so we want to use our strengths and skills, knowledge and experience to focus on the opportunities where we are most likely to succeed. Where we are most likely to succeed. The next thing is, I went online, and I think I was talking to Joy Fennell the other day, and Joy told me about a book. And I believe the book was Finding Your Why, Discovering Your Life's Purpose. And the author is Mike Rodriguez. You can get it on Amazon.com. And he talks about, the book is about strategies and insight into discovering your own life's purpose, allowing you to do 3 things, and I condensed them down. Number 1, focus on the bigger purpose for your life. Number 2, shift your mindset to taking action. What are we talking about here? We're talking about taking action. That's the next thing I'm about to tell you. That's my number 4, is taking action. And his number 3 is learn how to move through life's challenges without being defeated. So number 1, focus on the bigger purpose. Number 2, shift your mindset to taking action. And then number 3, learning how to move through life's challenges. So I'm going to actually get that book myself and read it. And it's called Finding Your Why, Discovering Your Life's Purpose by Mike Rodriguez. I believe that was Joy Fennell that told me about that. Here's the next thing. Action number 3. Garbage in, garbage out. If you are not edifying yourself by getting out of the social media space and taking advantage of things like go to an art show, okay? Go to a conference, go to a museum. You've got to be putting something in order to inform your creative abilities. When you go and take the time to go for a walk, just to breathe, leave your phone at home, when you take the time to go to an art gallery, when you take the time to go to an art show, if you're a photographer, you go to Photo Expo. If you're a makeup, hair, or fashion stylist, you need to be going to Photo Expo. Those are the kinds of things. Hearing speakers, how about this? Go to TED.com and listen to some inspiring speeches on TED.com. I get ideas about the things I'd like to talk to you all about, and taking what they're really talking about to entrepreneurs and putting it in a creative space, because you know what my thing is? Turning artists into stylepreneurs. Artists who are as serious about their business as they are about their art, which guess what? Makes you entrepreneurs. So what we want to do is we want to put something in, put new magazines in. Carving out time can also mean, if you're getting magazines, take some time to read them, okay? Carve out, 20 minutes twice a week to go through the magazines. Those are the kinds of things that inspire us. Go to the museum and art show, do those kinds of things. So that's action number 3. And action number 4, action number 4, choose when you want to be active on social media and why. Choose a when and a why. Plan the specific times that you're going to get on social media. But then ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, why am I going on? Number 2, what do I hope to gain by going on? And number 3, when am I getting off? One of the things that I teach my PYP grads, and I'll share this with you all. There are lots of people who are makeup artists, hairstylists, fashion stylists, even photographers that are only doing it part-time. They're only doing it part-time, and they want to do it. They want to quit their jobs. If you want to quit your job, you need an exit strategy, and you can't have an exit strategy unless it has a date on it. The exit strategy has to have a date on it, and it doesn't have to be 3 months from now. It doesn't have to be 6 months. It could be 12 months from now. It can be 18 months from now. But the thing that having an exit strategy does, and the thing that putting a date on it does, is it gives you a sense of urgency while freeing you at the same time. Because that job that you have right now that you hate, let me tell you what happens when you put a date on that job that you're planning on leaving. First of all, you don't have to tell anybody. Remember what I said in my last Periscope? The key to getting something done is not telling everybody that you're doing it. But if you put a date on it that you're leaving, and that date is 12 months from today, which would be September, 28, 2016, just knowing it makes you a happier person. You go to work, the day you make that decision, you go to work and you've got this pep in your step. Everybody wants to know, what the heck are you so happy about? We hate this job. Well, guess what? That job just became a means to an end. And the end is the day that you're leaving and you're starting your new life. So the same thing is true with social media. If you go into social media with, why am I going on? What is it that I'm looking for? Number 2, what do I hope to gain by going on social media? Number 3, when am I getting off? And then the last thing, turn off your notifications. You don't need to know when one of your friends goes on Facebook when you've got 2,000 friends? Really? Do you need a beep, a beep, a beep every time one of your friends goes on Facebook? Do you need a beep every single time I'm on Periscope? I love you, but really, I don't think you need to know every single moment that I'm on Periscope, because you can catch it in the replays. Okay? Turn the notifications off. Go through your phone. Go through the settings and ask yourself, why do I need to know every time one of my friends shows the world what they're having for lunch on Twitter? Why do I need to know every single time one of my friends says hello or lets me know about my birthday on Facebook? Because I guarantee you that if you turn it down, and okay, how about this? I'll give you a challenge. Don't turn them all off at once. If you think you're going to be pining for the notifications, do it one at a time, 30 days at a time. 30 days at a time. Start with Facebook. Maybe start with Facebook and turn the notifications off on Facebook and see if over the next 30 days you really missed anything. Did you win the lottery on Facebook and somebody sent you a notice and you didn't get it? I don't think so. Then in the next 30 days, so let's have let's have a plan for 2016. We're going to turn off the notifications on one social media platform a month. So you choose one in October. So get your fill for the rest of the days in September. One in October. We're going to turn off one in November. And we're going to turn off one in December. Now, does this mean we're not going to use social media? No. It just means that we're going to reclaim some of the time that we're spending picking up our phones and looking and finding out that nothing is really going on. The only thing that's going on is that you have been distracted from your bigger purpose. You've been distracted from making the phone calls that you need that are going to get you jobs. You're being distracted from being present on a photo shoot, and you don't realize that you're not being present means that the photographer and the decision maker are watching you, and even though they love the work that you're doing, they're not going to call you back because you're not present. You're not present. I want you to be present because I want you to succeed. So this is, oh my gosh, I think I got through everything. Here's my thing. It's the same objective that I had when I did PYP Summit. And this was the objective that I gave to the speakers. Give them actionable items. I'm here to give you actionable items. Oh, I love that. No more distractions in the name of Jesus. That's what I'm talking about. Give you actionable items, things that you can actually do, things that you can put in place 30 days at a time. 30 days at a time. So you do one, you get used to it. It's like, I don't know if you all know it, but I used to be 203 pounds. And how I lost the weight was that I changed one thing every 30 days. I did not even realize when I was doing that in 1980 that in 2008 or 2009, whenever it was, I was going to write a book called 30 Days at 100%, Changing Your Life 30 Days at a Time. But when I started writing it, that is one of the things that came to my mind, that's how I lost the weight. So let me tell you how I did it. Now imagine, and some people are going to say, oh, especially black folks, you know what they say, 203 pounds, you're not fat, you're just healthy. I was not healthy. I was rubbing the insides of my pant legs out. The heels on my shoes were wearing down because I was putting too much weight on them. That is the real deal. One thing, the first thing I think I did was I walked outside to go try to work out. I tried to run and I was stopped and I was wheezing. So what did I do? I walked and then I ran a little bit, and then I walked and I ran, and that's all I did for the first 30 days, and I did it 3 times a week. Then I added something new to my diet. I remember one of the things I added was Diet Tab. Yes, I'm aging myself. I'm 57 years old, and I'm sure some of you don't even realize that there was a drink called Diet Tab before there was ever Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. So I incorporated Tab into my diet, and I got rid of the soda, the regular soda. Does anybody like the taste of diet soda? Heck no. But if you do it for a couple of weeks, you get used to it. So that's what I did. And then I incorporated Sweet and Low into my diet. And I did that for 30 days until I got used to it. And then I found out that if I drank tea before I ate, I didn't want to eat as much. Then the next 30 days, I stopped eating when I was full. The next 30 days, I read an article that talked about you put your knife and fork down in between bites, I would eat less because my brain knew I was full. So all I'm saying is try changing one thing every 30 days instead of changing everything at once and feeling like you're going cold turkey and then you can't get it done. So this was my message today. Take your power back in social media. Use it as a tool. It is a tool. Figure out how you can use social media to benefit you in what you're doing, and how you can use social media as a tool to inspire you. I'll tell you, the one social media that I really, really use to inspire me is Pinterest, because Pinterest allows me to pull things that inspire me. I don't want you to be depressed. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I don't want you to be feeling bad about yourself because you're on social media. And you need to recognize when you feel that way, I need to get off. I need to focus on what I need to do as opposed to what everybody else is doing. So that was my message today. Social media from the inside out. But I think the most awesome thing is that Nicole J., makeup artist, called me before Stuart took me on holiday, which was August, and she said, Crystal, you need to be on Periscope. You have so much to say, and this is a great venue for you. And for me, it is helping me become more comfortable in front of this camera. I know you all think that this is easy for me. It's easy for me now. But it wasn't easy for me when I started. And even though I can get in front of 500 people, stand up on a stage, isn't this unbelievable? And talk for however long, getting in front of the camera wasn't easy because looking back at myself or looking at that green dot is just now starting to get easy. And you know what I did? I remembered that I heard somewhere where someone said 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours for you to become good at something. But I guarantee if you don't start, and if I didn't start, I was not going to get good. As I sit here now looking at myself on this camera, it really has gotten easier. When is the next summit? Oh my gosh. I will tell you this about the summit. The next summit will be next fall. It'll be sometime in the fall. I know for sure my PYP workshop in 2016 is October 15, 16, 17, and 18. When and where will you be in person next outside of PYP? You know what? It looks like I am going to speak at Robert Fiance. I am going to speak to the Robert Fiance students in New Jersey, the 22nd and then the 23rd. So how do you keep everything organized? I have the most trouble managing time and staying focused. Oh my gosh. Let me give you the simplest explanation to that. End your day with a plan so that you wake up in the morning with a purpose. If all you do at the end of your day before you go to bed is write down the 3 things you're going to do the next day, and that's it. Don't plan to do more. Listen, heed what I said about social media, and then for the month of October, go to bed, and before you go to bed, write down 3 things. And when you wake up in the morning, just attack those 3 things. From those three things will come the other three things that you need to do. You can add something if you get those three things done. But if you plan to do too much in a day, it's like the end of the year when we do New Year's resolutions. So that's one of my ideas for you, Bells_ball. Listen, I'm going to go. Have a great evening. I hope that this will help you start your week off better with trying some new things, and I hope it will start your October off better. My email address is crystal@crystalwrightlive.com. If you would like to be on my mailing list, if you would like to know when I'm going to be doing my periscopes and what the subjects are going to be, send me an email to crystal@crystalwrightlive.com, and I will add you to my mailing list and I'll let you know. Put Periscope in the subject line so I know that that's specifically why you're writing me. Oh, it has already helped. Thank you. Crystal, do you still blog? You know, I have my PYP Summit blog, and I've been blogging on there. It is my intention to start a new blog. But you know what? I get overwhelmed too. Sometimes I'm trying to do too many things. I can get very overwhelmed. You know, I committed to doing one Periscope every 3 days. That's my goal for the first 30 days, is to do one Periscope every 3 days, which means that I'm still going to have to do a Periscope while I'm teaching PYP in Stamford, Connecticut. So I have goals too. I'm not doing everything right all the time, but I'm trying. I appreciate you sharing. Do me a favor though. Let me know what you think. A thumbs up is great. If you have the time to comment, I certainly appreciate it. I'd like to know if what I'm doing is helping, if it's working, if you have a topic you would like me to talk about. Otherwise, I'm going to go on with my little editorial schedule that I have planned, and I will see you all again soon. Oh my gosh, look at Tanya Robertson says, she took my PYP workshop in Washington, D.C. in 1995. Woo! PYP rocks! Okay, you guys. Bye.